Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Science channel. Tonight, we'll be exploring one of the most profound and enduring experiences of human existence: love. A force that shapes our lives, our choices, and our connections to one another. Love is both universal and deeply personal, something we all seek, yet each of us experiences differently. It is found in the gentle touch of a parent, the knowing glance between partners, the fierce loyalty of friendship, and the quiet devotion of a lifetime. But love is more than just feeling. It is chemistry, biology, psychology, and history, all woven together. If you enjoy these quiet explorations, I invite you to like and subscribe, or share a simple thought down in the comments. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, all you need to do is rest, settle in, and allow the calm of these facts about love to carry you gently into sleep. Let's begin. The human heart beats approximately 3 billion times in an average lifetime. Each beat is a reminder that we are alive, that blood flows through our veins carrying oxygen, nutrients, and the very chemistry of emotion. The heart has long been associated with love, not just as symbol but as something we feel physically. When we fall in love, our heart rate actually changes. It quickens when we see someone we care about, slows when we feel safe in their presence. Ancient cultures believed the heart was the center of all emotion and thought. The Egyptians considered it so important that they left it in the body during mummification while removing other organs. They believed the heart would be weighed against a feather in the afterlife to determine the worthiness of a soul. Modern science tells us that emotions arise from the brain, but the heart responds in measurable ways. The connection between our emotional state and our heartbeat is so strong that it can be tracked on monitors, revealing patterns that correlate with feelings of love, fear, joy, and sadness. Your heart is not just keeping you alive, it is participating in every moment of connection you experience. Falling in love activates the same reward pathways in the brain as cocaine. When researchers use brain imaging to observe people who are newly in love, certain areas light up with activity. The ventral tegmental area and the caudate nucleus, regions associated with reward and motivation, become highly active. These are the same areas that respond to addictive substances. The brain floods with dopamine, a neurotransmitter linked to pleasure and desire. This is why new love feels so exhilarating, so consuming, so impossible to ignore. It creates a natural high, one that makes us think constantly about the person we love, seek their presence, and feel genuine distress when apart. The intensity usually fades over time, not because love diminishes, but because the brain adjusts. The initial euphoria gives way to a calmer, deeper form of attachment. But in those early stages, the chemical cascade is real and powerful. Love is not just an abstract emotion. It is a measurable neurological event, a symphony of signals that changes how we think, how we feel, and how we see the world. The average person falls in love 7 times before marriage. Throughout our lives, we open ourselves to connection again and again. Some of these loves are fleeting, others endure. Some teach us what we need, others show us what we must leave behind. Each time we fall in love, we learn something new, not just about the other person, but about ourselves. We discover our capacity for joy, for vulnerability, for patience, and sometimes for heartbreak. These experiences shape us. The first love often feels all-consuming, a revelation of what it means to care deeply for someone outside our family. Later, loves may be more cautious, informed by past wounds and wisdom. But the willingness to love again, despite the risk, is one of humanity's most courageous acts. Not every love is meant to last forever, and that does not diminish its value. Each connection, Each moment of intimacy, each shared laugh or quiet evening adds to the tapestry of who we become. Love is not a single destination. It is a series of journeys, each one bringing us closer to understanding what it truly means to open our hearts to another person. Couples who are in love often synchronize their heart rates when they are near each other. Studies have shown that when two people who are emotionally connected sit close together, their hearts begin to beat in similar rhythms. This phenomenon, known as physiological synchrony, can happen even when they are not touching. Researchers have observed it in romantic partners, close friends, and parents with their children. The mechanism is not fully understood, but it seems to involve subconscious cues, shared emotional states, and a deep connection that manifests physically. When we are with someone we love, we attune ourselves to them in ways we are not consciously aware of. Our breathing slows or quickens to match theirs. Our gestures mirror theirs. And our hearts, quite literally, find a common rhythm. This synchrony is not forced or intentional. It happens naturally, a quiet harmony between two people who have opened themselves to one another. In a way, it is the body's recognition of love, a physical echo of emotional closeness. To sit beside someone and feel your heartbeat align with theirs is a reminder that love is more than words or thoughts. It is a connection that runs deep, felt in the very pulse of life itself. Oxytocin, often called the love hormone, is released during physical touch and bonding. This small molecule plays an enormous role in human connection. It is produced in the hypothalamus and released during moments of intimacy, childbirth, breastfeeding, hugging, and even petting an animal. Oxytocin promotes feelings of trust, empathy, and attachment. It reduces stress and anxiety, creating a sense of calm and safety. In romantic relationships, oxytocin strengthens the bond between partners, making them feel closer and more connected. It is why a simple hug can soothe a troubled mind, why holding hands can ease fear, and why physical closeness feels so comforting. Mothers and newborns experience surges of oxytocin that help them bond in those crucial early hours and days. Friends who embrace after a long separation feel its effects too. Oxytocin is sometimes called the cuddle chemical, but its influence extends beyond warmth and affection. It also plays a role in social recognition, helping us remember faces and interpret emotions. It strengthens the neural pathways associated with positive social experiences, reinforcing our desire to seek connection. In many ways, oxytocin is the biological foundation of love, a chemical messenger that turns feelings into something tangible, something that binds us together in ways both subtle and profound. The brain of a person in love looks similar to the brain of someone with obsessive-compulsive disorder. This might sound alarming, but it helps explain the intensity of early love. Brain scans of people in the throes of new romance show decreased activity in the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for rational decision-making and judgment. At the same time, there is increased activity in regions associated with focus, motivation, and reward. This pattern resembles the brain activity seen in individuals with OCD who experience intrusive thoughts and compulsive behaviors. In love, the intrusive thoughts are about the person we are infatuated with. We think about them constantly, replay conversations, imagine scenarios, and feel compelled to check our phones for messages. This is not a flaw or a weakness. It is a natural response driven by neurochemistry. The brain is prioritizing the formation of a pair bond, and it does so by making the other person the center of our mental world. Over time, as the relationship deepens, this intensity softens. The brain returns to a more balanced state, and the obsessive quality fades. What remains is a quieter, steadier form of love, one less driven by urgency and more grounded in trust and familiarity. But in those early days, the mind is consumed, and there is a kind of beauty in that. It is the brain's way of saying, this person matters, this connection is important, pay attention. Arranged marriages can lead to love that grows stronger over time. In many cultures, throughout history, and still today, marriages are arranged by families rather than chosen by individuals. Western societies often emphasize romantic love as the foundation of marriage, but arranged marriages offer a different perspective. Research shows that couples in arranged marriages often report high levels of satisfaction and affection, sometimes even exceeding those in love marriages. The difference lies in expectation and commitment. In a love marriage, the initial passion is high, but it may decline as reality sets in. In an arranged marriage, affection often starts modestly and grows steadily as the couple builds a life together. They enter the relationship with a commitment to making it work, and that intention shapes their behavior. They invest in understanding each other, in patience, and in the slow cultivation of intimacy. Over months and years, respect turns into care, care into affection, and affection into deep love. This does not mean arranged marriages are without challenges or that they are superior to love marriages. Both models have strengths and weaknesses, but the success of arranged marriages reminds us that love is not only a feeling that precedes commitment, it can also be a feeling that grows from commitment. Love can be built, nurtured, and strengthened through choice, effort, and time. It is a testament to the adaptability of the human heart and the many ways love can take root and flourish. The ancient Greeks identified 8 different types of love. While modern English uses a single word, the Greeks understood love as multifaceted, each type distinct in its nature and expression. There was eros, passionate and romantic love, driven by desire and attraction. Philia, the deep bond of friendship, characterized by loyalty and mutual respect. Storge, the natural affection between family members, especially the love parents feel for their children. Agape, selfless and unconditional love, often associated with spiritual or universal compassion. Ludus, playful and flirtatious love, light-hearted and fun. Pragma, enduring love built on commitment and shared goals, the kind that sustains long marriages. Philautia, love of self, which in its healthy form means self-respect and care. And mania, obsessive love, marked by jealousy and need. Each type reflects a different way humans connect. We experience most of these in our lifetime, sometimes several at once. The love you feel for a lifelong friend is different from the love you have for a parent, which differs from the love you share with a partner. Recognizing these distinctions helps us understand our relationships more clearly. It reminds us that love is not one size fits all. It is a spectrum of experiences, each valuable, each shaping who we are. The Greeks gave us language for what we feel, and in doing so, they honored the complexity of the human heart. Eye contact can create feelings of love between strangers. In a famous study, psychologist Arthur Aaron brought pairs of strangers into a lab and had them ask each other a series of increasingly personal questions. At the end, they were instructed to stare into each other's eyes for 4 minutes without speaking. Many participants reported feeling a deep connection afterward. Some even formed lasting relationships, and at least one pair eventually married. The exercise demonstrated that intimacy can be cultivated through vulnerability and sustained eye contact. When we look into someone's eyes, we allow ourselves to be seen, and we see them in return. It is an act of trust and openness. Eye contact triggers the release of oxytocin and activates brain regions involved in empathy and social bonding. It is why lovers gaze at each other, why a parent looks into a child's eyes, and why a moment of shared eye contact with a stranger can feel surprisingly intimate. We are wired to connect through the eyes. They are windows not just to the soul, but to the possibility of understanding, of being understood, and of forging bonds that transcend words. In a world where we often avoid prolonged eye contact, choosing to truly see another person can be a radical act of connection. Long-distance relationships can be just as successful as geographically close ones. Distance is often seen as an obstacle to love, but research suggests that couples separated by miles can maintain strong, healthy relationships. The key lies in communication, trust, and intentionality. Long-distance partners often communicate more meaningfully because they cannot rely on physical presence to convey affection. They write longer messages, have deeper phone conversations, and make the most of the time they do have together. They also tend to idealize their partners slightly, focusing on positive qualities and shared values rather than everyday annoyances. This is not denial, but rather a way of maintaining emotional closeness despite physical separation. Technology has made long-distance relationships more sustainable than ever. Video calls, instant messaging, and social media allow couples to share daily experiences in real time. But even before these tools existed, love persisted across distances. Soldiers wrote letters from the front lines. Immigrants corresponded with loved ones across oceans. The human capacity for attachment is not bound by proximity. It is sustained by memory, imagination, and the promise of reunion. Distance teaches couples to appreciate each other, to communicate with care, and to recognize that love is not diminished by miles. It is tested, certainly, but also deepened by the effort required to keep it alive. People who express gratitude in their relationships report higher levels of satisfaction. A simple thank you can have profound effects. When we acknowledge the things our partner does for us, no matter how small, we reinforce positive behavior and create a culture of appreciation. Gratitude shifts focus from what is lacking to what is present. It reminds us of the care we receive and the effort our partner invests. Studies show that couples who regularly express gratitude to each other feel more connected, experience less conflict, and are more likely to stay together long-term. Gratitude fosters a sense of being valued, and being valued is a core human need. It is easy to take familiar things for granted. We stop noticing the morning coffee made just right, the laundry folded without being asked, the listening ear after a hard day. But when we pause to say thank you, we honor those acts. We make the invisible visible. We remind our partner that they matter, that their contributions are seen and appreciated. This does not require grand gestures. A few sincere words can be enough. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for making me laugh. Thank you for being here. Gratitude nurtures love, keeping it vibrant and alive even in the midst of routine. It is one of the simplest and most powerful tools we have to maintain connection. The concept of a soulmate has existed in various forms across cultures for thousands of years. The idea that there is one perfect person destined for us is deeply romantic, and it has been explored in mythology, religion, and literature. Plato wrote of humans originally being creatures with 4 arms, 4 legs, and 2 faces, split in half by the gods and forever searching for their other half. In Hindu tradition, the concept of a spiritual partner, or twin flame, suggests that souls are connected across lifetimes. Modern Western culture often embraces the soulmate narrative, the belief that somewhere out there is the one person who completes us. But psychologists caution against this idea. Believing in a single soulmate can lead to unrealistic expectations and disappointment. Healthy relationships are not about finding someone who is perfect, but about building something meaningful with someone who is willing to grow alongside you. Love is less about fate and more about choice. It is the daily decision to stay, to work through difficulties, to communicate, and to care. Perhaps the truth is that soulmates are not found, but made. Through years of shared experience, through compromise and understanding, two people can become so intertwined that they feel like halves of a whole. The idea of a soulmate is beautiful, but the real magic lies in the effort it takes to create that bond, to build a love so deep it feels destined, even when it was chosen. Laughter is one of the strongest predictors of a lasting relationship. Couples who laugh together are more likely to stay together. Humor creates connection, diffuses tension, and makes difficult moments more bearable. When partners share a sense of humor, they create a private language of inside jokes, funny references, and shared amusement. This builds intimacy and reinforces the bond between them. Laughter also triggers the release of endorphins, the body's natural feel-good chemicals. It reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, and promotes a sense of well-being. In the context of a relationship, laughter is a way of saying, we are on the same team, we see the world in similar ways, and we can find joy even in the mundane. Conflicts are inevitable, but couples who can laugh together, even in the midst of disagreement, are better equipped to navigate challenges. Humor provides perspective, reminding us not to take ourselves too seriously. It softens rigid positions and opens the door to compromise. A shared laugh after an argument can be a bridge back to connection. It is not about dismissing feelings or avoiding difficult conversations, but about maintaining lightness and playfulness. Love is serious, but it does not have to be solemn. Joy, silliness, and laughter are just as important as depth and commitment. They are the sparks that keep love vibrant, the moments that remind us why we chose this person, why we stay, and why we continue to find delight in their presence. Touch deprivation can lead to feelings of loneliness and depression. Humans are tactile beings. From the moment we are born, touch is essential to our development and well-being. Infants who are not held or touched fail to thrive, even when their other needs are met. As adults, we continue to need physical contact. A hug, a handshake, a pat on the back, these small gestures provide comfort, convey affection, and reduce stress. In the absence of touch, people can experience touch, hunger, a feeling of emptiness and disconnection. Studies have shown that lack of physical touch is associated with higher levels of anxiety, depression, and loneliness. It can weaken the immune system and increase the perception of pain. Touch is not just pleasant, it is necessary. In romantic relationships, physical affection is a primary way partners communicate love. Holding hands, cuddling, kissing, these acts release oxytocin and create a sense of safety and belonging. They reassure us that we are not alone, that we are cared for and valued. Even non-romantic touch, like a hug from a friend or a comforting hand on the shoulder, plays a vital role in emotional health. Touch connects us to others in a way that words cannot. It is a silent language, spoken through the skin, felt in the heart, and essential to our sense of being human. In a world that often encourages independence and self-sufficiency, we must remember that we are wired for connection, and touch is one of its most fundamental expressions. Love letters have been written for over 2,000 years. Long before text messages and emails, people poured their hearts onto paper. Ancient Egyptians carved declarations of love into stone. Roman soldiers sent letters home to wives and sweethearts. In the Middle Ages, courtly love inspired poetry and prose. During wartime, letters became lifelines, the only way separated lovers could maintain connection. These letters were cherished, read over and over, kept until the paper wore thin. They were tangible proof that someone far away was thinking of you, missing you, longing for you. Even today, despite the speed and convenience of digital communication, handwritten love letters hold special power. They require time, thought, and effort. They are deliberate acts of affection. The writer chooses each word carefully, and the recipient can hold the letter, see the handwriting, feel the weight of it. There is intimacy in that physicality. A text can be deleted with a swipe. A letter is permanent, something that can be kept in a drawer and rediscovered years later. Love letters are not just about the words themselves. They are about the act of writing, the intention behind it, and the connection they create across time and distance. They are a reminder that love has always sought expression, that the need to say, "I love you, I miss you, I am thinking of you," transcends technology and era. It is a constant of the human experience. The color red is psychologically associated with love and attraction. We give red roses on Valentine's Day. We wear red to feel confident and alluring. This is not arbitrary. Studies have shown that the color red increases heart rate and arousal. It is associated with passion, energy, and desire. In many cultures, red symbolizes love and romance. But the connection goes deeper than symbolism. Research suggests that men find women more attractive when they wear red, and women perceive men in red as having higher status. The effect is subtle but measurable. Evolutionary psychologists propose that this may be linked to biological signals. In some primates, females display red coloring when they are fertile, and males are drawn to it. Humans may retain an unconscious association between red and reproductive readiness. Red also signals danger and importance, drawing our attention and heightening our emotions. It is a color that demands notice, that stirs something primal. Whether it is the red of a valentine, the blush on a cheek, or the flush of arousal, red speaks the language of the body. It is no wonder that love, with all its intensity and urgency, has claimed this color as its own. Breakups activate the same brain regions as physical pain. When a relationship ends, the hurt is not just metaphorical. Brain imaging studies show that social rejection and heartbreak activate the anterior cingulate cortex and the insula, the same areas that process physical pain. This is why we say, our heart aches, our chest feels tight, our stomach churns. The pain of loss is real and embodied. Evolutionary psychologists suggest that this response exists because social bonds were crucial to survival. Being rejected or separated from a group could mean death in ancestral environments, so the brain evolved to treat social pain with the same urgency as physical injury. Heartbreak hurts because the brain is signaling something important has been lost. Recovering from a breakup takes time, just as healing from a physical wound does. The brain must recalibrate, adjust to the absence, and eventually form new patterns. Some people recover quickly, others take longer. There is no right timeline. But understanding that the pain is real, that it has a biological basis, can offer comfort. It is not weakness or melodrama. It is the brain doing what it was designed to do, responding to loss with a warning signal that says, "This mattered, and now it is gone." Over time, the pain fades, the brain heals, and the capacity to love again returns, often stronger and wiser for having endured the hurt. The tradition of wedding rings dates back to ancient Egypt. Circles have no beginning and no end, making them a perfect symbol for eternal love. The ancient Egyptians believed that the ring finger contained a vein, the vena amoris, that ran directly to the heart. This anatomical idea was incorrect, but the symbolism endured. Rings were woven from reeds and papyrus, later from leather and bone, and eventually from precious metals. The Romans adopted the tradition, using iron rings to signify strength and permanence. Over centuries, the wedding ring became a near universal symbol of marriage. The exchange of rings is a public declaration of commitment, a physical reminder of vows spoken. Wearing a ring tells the world, "I am spoken for, I belong with someone, and I have chosen this bond." But it also serves as a private reminder. In moments of doubt or frustration, the weight of the ring on your finger is a tangible connection to the promises you made. It is a small thing, a circle of metal, but it carries immense meaning. Even in cultures where wedding rings are not traditional, other symbols serve similar purposes. Bracelets, necklaces, tattoos, marks of belonging and devotion. Humans have always sought ways to make love visible, to give it form and substance. The ring is one of the oldest and most enduring ways we do that. Married people tend to live longer and have better health outcomes than single people. Study after study has shown that people in committed relationships experience lower rates of heart disease, depression, and mortality. The reasons are multifaceted. Partners encourage each other to maintain healthy habits, attend medical appointments, and avoid risky behaviors. They provide emotional support, which reduces stress and strengthens the immune system. The companionship itself offers protection against loneliness, which is a significant health risk. Loneliness has been compared to smoking in terms of its impact on lifespan. But marriage is not a cure-all. The quality of the relationship matters enormously. People in unhappy or high-conflict marriages do not enjoy these benefits and may actually experience worse health than their single counterparts. It is not the institution of marriage that protects us, but the presence of a supportive, loving partner. This applies to unmarried couples as well. What matters is the bond, the mutual care, the sense of being known and valued. Love, when it is healthy, acts as a buffer against the hardships of life. It gives us someone to lean on, someone to share joy with, and someone who reminds us that we are not facing the world alone. In this way, love is not just an emotional experience. It is a force that shapes our physical well-being, extending our lives and enriching the time we have. People often choose partners who are similar to them. This is known as assortative mating. Despite the popular saying that opposites attract, research shows that couples are more likely to share similar values, interests, education levels, and even physical traits. Similarity fosters understanding and reduces conflict. When two people see the world in comparable ways, they are more likely to agree on important decisions, enjoy the same activities, and feel comfortable in each other's presence. This does not mean successful couples are identical. Differences exist and can be complementary. One partner might be outgoing, while the other is reserved, balancing each other out. But the foundation, the core beliefs and goals, tends to align. Similarity also plays a role in initial attraction. We are drawn to people who reflect aspects of ourselves, who validate our worldview, who feel familiar. This is sometimes called the mere exposure effect. We like what we know. Over time, couples in long-term relationships often become even more similar, adopting each other's habits, mannerisms, and perspectives. They influence each other, growing together rather than apart. This convergence is a sign of a strong bond, a testament to the way love shapes us. We do not lose ourselves in a relationship. We integrate, blending two lives into something shared, something that honors both individuality and unity. The phenomenon of love at first sight may be based on rapid unconscious assessments. Some people swear they knew immediately upon meeting their partner that this was the person they would love. Skeptics dismiss this as romanticized hindsight, but there may be something to it. The brain is capable of making incredibly fast judgments based on minimal information. Within milliseconds of seeing someone, we assess attractiveness, trustworthiness, and compatibility, often without conscious awareness. These snap judgments are influenced by facial symmetry, body language, vocal tone, and even pheromones. If someone aligns with our unconscious criteria for a desirable partner, we feel an instant pull, a sense of recognition. This is not true knowledge of the person, but it can feel profound. Love at first sight might be better understood as attraction at first sight, a powerful initial spark that has the potential to become love if nurtured. Not every spark ignites a lasting flame, but some do. The challenge is distinguishing between genuine compatibility and projection. In the early stages, we often see what we want to see, filling in gaps with imagination. Real love develops over time as we come to know the other person fully, flaws and all. But that initial moment, that electric recognition, can be the beginning of something extraordinary. It reminds us that love often starts with a feeling, an instinct, a leap of faith. Attachment styles, formed in childhood, influence adult romantic relationships. Psychologists have identified 4 main attachment styles: secure, anxious, avoidant, and disorganized. These patterns are established early in life based on interactions with caregivers. Children who experience consistent, responsive care develop secure attachment. They learn that their needs will be met and that relationships are safe. As adults, they tend to form healthy, trusting relationships. Children who experience inconsistent care may develop anxious attachment. They crave closeness but fear abandonment, leading to clinginess or jealousy in adult relationships. Those who experience neglect or rejection may develop avoidant attachment. They learn to suppress their needs and keep others at a distance, valuing independence over intimacy. Disorganized attachment arises from chaotic or frightening caregiving and results in confusing, contradictory behaviors in relationships. Understanding attachment styles is not about labeling or excusing behavior. It is about gaining insight into patterns that may be unconscious. With awareness, people can work to develop more secure ways of relating. Therapy, self-reflection, and supportive relationships can help heal early wounds. Attachment is not destiny. It is a starting point, a lens through which we see connection. Recognizing our own style and that of our partner can foster compassion and guide us toward healthier communication. Love is not just about finding the right person. It is about becoming a person capable of giving and receiving love in a way that honors both ourselves and the one we care for. Shared experiences create stronger bonds than material gifts. Research in relationship psychology consistently shows that couples who engage in activities together, whether traveling, trying new hobbies, or simply taking walks, report higher satisfaction than those who focus on exchanging gifts. Experiences create memories, and memories are the foundation of intimacy. When you do something together, you are not just passing time. You are building a shared narrative, a story that belongs to both of you. These moments become reference points, inside jokes, cherished recollections. Gifts can be meaningful, especially when they are thoughtful and personal. But they are objects. They sit on a shelf or in a drawer. Experiences, on the other hand, are woven into the fabric of your relationship. They shape how you see each other and how you see yourselves as a couple. Novel experiences are particularly powerful. Trying something new together, whether it is learning to dance, exploring a new city, or even cooking a complex meal, triggers dopamine release and creates a sense of adventure. This mirrors the excitement of early romance and can help sustain that spark over time. Even simple experiences, a quiet evening watching the stars, a morning coffee shared in silence, carry weight. They are moments of presence, of choosing to be together. In a world that often values productivity and possession, experiences remind us that the best things in life are not things at all. They are moments, connections, and the love that fills the space between heartbeats. Music has been used to express love for thousands of years. From ancient hymns to modern love songs, music is one of humanity's most enduring ways to communicate affection. The oldest known love song, written in cuneiform on a clay tablet, dates back over 4,000 years to ancient Mesopotamia. Throughout history, composers and musicians have sought to capture the ineffable quality of love in melody and lyric. Music speaks to us in ways words alone cannot. It conveys emotion directly, bypassing rational thought and reaching the heart. A song can evoke longing, joy, heartbreak, or devotion with just a few notes. Couples often have a song, a piece of music that represents their relationship, that brings back memories of a first dance, a significant moment, or simply a time when they felt deeply connected. Listening to music together can synchronize heart rates and breathing, creating a shared physiological experience. Singing or playing music with a partner fosters collaboration and harmony. Even silence between notes becomes meaningful when shared. Music also serves as a bridge across distance and time. A song can remind us of someone far away or long gone. It can carry us back to a moment when we felt most alive, most loved. In this way, music is a vessel for love, holding it and releasing it in waves of sound that wash over us, soothing, stirring, and forever entwining memory with emotion. The brain can distinguish between different types of love. Love for a romantic partner activates different neural circuits than love for a child or a friend. Brain imaging studies reveal that maternal love, for instance, activates regions associated with caregiving and nurturing, while romantic love activates areas related to reward and desire. This makes sense from an evolutionary perspective. The love between parent and child ensures the survival and protection of offspring. The love between partners encourages pair bonding and cooperation in raising those offspring. Friendship fosters alliances and social cohesion, which were crucial for survival in early human societies. Each type of love serves a purpose, and the brain has adapted to support them all. But there is overlap too. All forms of love involve the release of oxytocin and activation of the brain's reward system. All create feelings of warmth, connection, and well-being. The distinctions remind us that love is not monolithic. It is a collection of experiences, each with its own flavor, its own neural signature, and its own role in our lives. Understanding this can help us appreciate the richness of our relationships and recognize that loving different people in different ways does not dilute love. It multiplies it, creating a network of care that sustains us throughout our lives. Acts of kindness in a relationship increase overall happiness for both partners. When you do something kind for your partner, you might expect it to make them happy, but research shows it also makes you happier. The act of giving, whether it is a small gesture or a significant sacrifice, activates the brain's reward centers. It releases dopamine and creates a sense of purpose and connection. This is known as the helper's high. Kindness fosters a positive cycle. When one partner acts kindly, the other is likely to reciprocate, creating a loop of generosity and appreciation. Over time, these small acts accumulate, building a foundation of goodwill and trust. Kindness does not require grand gestures. It can be as simple as making your partner's favorite meal, offering a listening ear after a hard day, or leaving a note of encouragement. It is about noticing what the other person needs and responding with care. In long-term relationships, kindness is often more important than passion. Passion may fade, but kindness endures. It is the steady, quiet force that keeps love alive through the inevitable challenges and changes of life. Couples who prioritize kindness report higher levels of satisfaction and are more resilient in the face of conflict. Kindness is love in action, love made tangible, love that asks nothing in return but gives freely, knowing that in giving, we receive as well. The fear of vulnerability can prevent people from experiencing deep love. To love someone is to risk being hurt. It is to open yourself. to let someone see the parts of you that are uncertain, flawed, or afraid. For many, this feels dangerous. Past wounds, betrayals, or disappointments can create walls, defenses meant to protect, but that also isolate. Vulnerability requires courage. It means saying, "I love you" first, admitting when you are scared, asking for what you need, and accepting that you cannot control how the other person will respond. It is uncomfortable, and it goes against the instinct to protect ourselves. But without vulnerability, love remains shallow. It stays safe, polite, and distant. True intimacy is born from vulnerability, from the willingness to be fully seen and to see another fully in return. Researcher Brené Brown has extensively studied vulnerability and found that it is the birthplace of love, belonging, and joy. Those who embrace vulnerability, despite the discomfort, tend to have richer, more meaningful relationships. They also experience greater personal growth. Learning to be vulnerable is a process. It does not happen all at once. It starts with small steps, sharing a worry, admitting a mistake, asking for comfort. Each act of vulnerability builds trust, and trust creates a safe space for even deeper connection. Love asks us to be brave, to lower our defenses, and to trust that being seen is worth the risk. Smell plays a significant role in attraction and bonding. Humans produce pheromones, chemical signals that can influence attraction and emotional responses in others. While the science of human pheromones is still debated, there is no question that scent affects how we perceive potential partners. Studies have shown that people are drawn to the natural scent of those whose immune system genes differ from their own. This is thought to promote genetic diversity in offspring. The scent of a loved one can be deeply comforting. Partners often find the smell of each other's skin, hair, or clothing soothing. It triggers memories and feelings of safety. This is why we might sleep in a partner's shirt when they are away, or bury our face in their neck when we embrace. Scent is processed in the brain's limbic system, the same area that handles emotion and memory. This is why a particular fragrance can instantly transport us to a specific moment or person. The smell of a perfume your mother wore, the cologne your first love used, these scents hold power. In romantic relationships, scent is a silent language. It is one of the ways we recognize and bond with each other. It is primal and unconscious, yet profoundly influential. In a world dominated by visual and auditory stimuli, we sometimes forget the importance of scent, but it is there, always. A quiet undercurrent shaping attraction, memory, and love. People in love often report feeling less pain. Studies have demonstrated that being in a loving relationship can actually reduce the perception of pain. When participants in one study were shown pictures of their romantic partners while experiencing a painful stimulus, they reported feeling less pain than when shown pictures of strangers or objects. Brain scans revealed that viewing a loved one activated the brain's reward centers and reduced activity in pain-processing regions. This is not just psychological distraction. It is a measurable change in how the brain processes pain signals. Love acts as a natural painkiller, releasing endorphins and creating a sense of well-being that dulls discomfort. This effect extends beyond physical pain. Emotional support from a partner can also ease psychological distress. Knowing that someone cares, that you are not alone in your struggles, provides comfort that is both emotional and physiological. The presence of a loved one lowers cortisol levels, reduces blood pressure, and promotes healing. This is why people in hospitals often recover faster when they have supportive visitors. It is why holding hands during a medical procedure can make it more bearable. Love is not just an abstract feeling. It is a force that changes our bodies, that alters our experience of the world, and that offers protection and comfort in tangible, measurable ways. It reminds us that we are not just minds or just bodies, but integrated beings where emotion and physical sensation are deeply intertwined. The concept of unconditional love is most often associated with parental love. The love a parent feels for a child is often described as unconditional, a love that persists regardless of behavior, achievement, or circumstance. This does not mean parents do not set boundaries or feel frustration. It means that the fundamental bond, the commitment to the child's well-being, does not waver. Unconditional love provides a secure foundation. It tells the child you are valued for who you are, not for what you do. This security fosters healthy development, self-esteem, and the ability to form trusting relationships later in life. In romantic relationships, unconditional love is more complex. Partners choose each other and can choose to leave. The relationship is based on mutual respect, attraction, and compatibility, all of which can change. Yet, long-term couples often describe their love as unconditional, in the sense that they remain committed through difficulties, illness, and change. They accept each other's flaws and choose to love despite imperfections. This is not blind acceptance. It is a conscious decision to prioritize the relationship, to work through problems, and to honor the bond they have built. Unconditional love, whether for a child or a partner, is not passive. It is active, ongoing, and sometimes difficult. It requires patience, forgiveness, and the willingness to see beyond the surface to the essential worth of the person. It is love that endures, not because it is easy, but because it is chosen, again and again, in small and large moments alike. Rituals and routines strengthen romantic relationships. Couples who establish shared rituals, whether it is a morning coffee together, a weekly date night, or a bedtime routine, tend to feel more connected and satisfied. Rituals create predictability and stability in a relationship. They are moments set aside to prioritize each other, to step out of the busyness of life and reconnect. Even small rituals carry meaning. Saying goodnight in a particular way, cooking a special meal on anniversaries, or taking a walk every Sunday. These repeated actions become symbols of commitment and care. They signal, this time is ours, this moment matters. Rituals also help couples navigate transitions and stress. When life becomes chaotic, rituals provide anchors, familiar touchstones that remind partners of their bond. They create a sense of continuity, linking past, present, and future. In long-term relationships, passion may ebb and flow, but rituals remain. They are the steady drumbeat that keeps the relationship moving forward. Creating rituals does not require elaborate planning. It simply requires intention. Choose something that feels meaningful, something that allows you to be present with each other, and commit to it. Over time, these rituals become woven into the fabric of your relationship, threads of connection that hold you together even when life tries to pull you apart. Forgiveness is essential for long-term relationship success. No relationship is free from hurt. Mistakes are made, words are said in anger, expectations are unmet. The ability to forgive, to let go of resentment, and move forward is crucial. Forgiveness does not mean condoning harmful behavior or pretending the hurt did not happen. It means choosing not to let the past define the future. It means releasing the desire for punishment and instead seeking understanding and repair. Holding on to grudges erodes relationships. It builds walls, creates distance, and fosters bitterness. Forgiveness, on the other hand, opens the door to healing. It allows both partners to acknowledge what went wrong, to learn from it, and to rebuild trust. Research shows that people who are able to forgive their partners experience greater relationship satisfaction, better health, and lower levels of stress. Forgiveness is also a gift to oneself. Carrying anger and resentment is exhausting. It keeps you tethered to the past, replaying old wounds. Letting go frees you to live in the present, to invest energy in connection rather than conflict. Forgiveness does not happen instantly. It is a process that may require time, conversation, and sometimes professional support. But it is worth the effort. It is one of the most loving acts we can perform, both for our partner and for ourselves. It is a recognition that we are all imperfect, that we all hurt each other at times, and that love is strong enough to endure and heal. Love can change the way we perceive the world. When we are in love, the world often seems brighter, more beautiful, more full of possibility. This is not just poetic language. Love alters perception. The release of dopamine and other neurochemicals heightens our senses and increases our sensitivity to positive stimuli. We notice beauty we might have overlooked. We feel more optimistic. We are more open to new experiences. Love also changes how we see the person we love. Research on perceptual bias shows that people in love tend to view their partners more positively than objective observers would. They focus on strengths and minimize flaws. This is not delusion. It is a natural part of bonding. This positive bias helps maintain the relationship, especially during difficult times. It allows us to see the best in our partner and to give them the benefit of the doubt. However, it is important to balance this with realism. Sustainable love requires seeing the other person clearly, flaws and all, and choosing to love them anyway. The initial rose-colored glasses eventually come off, and that is when true love begins. It is the love that persists when the neurochemical high fades, when reality sets in, and when you choose each other not because everything is perfect, but because the bond you have built is worth preserving. Love changes perception, but it also teaches us to see clearly, to accept fully, and to love deeply, with eyes wide open. The average length of the honeymoon phase in a relationship is about 2 years. The honeymoon phase is characterized by intense passion, idealization, and a sense of euphoria. Everything feels new and exciting. Flaws are minimized or unseen. You want to spend every moment together. This phase is fueled by neurochemicals like dopamine, norepinephrine, and oxytocin, which create feelings of pleasure, energy, and attachment. But neurochemistry cannot sustain this intensity indefinitely. After roughly 18 months to 2 years, the brain begins to adapt. The rush of chemicals diminishes, and the relationship enters a new phase. This transition can feel alarming. Some people mistake it for falling out of love. They wonder where the spark went and whether the relationship is doomed. But this shift is natural and even necessary. It is the move from passion to companionate love, a deeper, calmer, more stable form of affection. Companionate love is characterized by trust, commitment, and intimacy. It lacks the intensity of the honeymoon phase, but it offers something more enduring: security, partnership, and the comfort of being truly known. This is the love that sustains marriages and long-term partnerships. It is built not on constant excitement, but on shared history, mutual respect, and the choice to stay. Understanding that the honeymoon phase is temporary helps couples navigate the transition. Instead of mourning the loss of intensity, they can embrace the growth, recognizing that love is evolving into something deeper and more resilient. Physical attractiveness matters less over time in long-term relationships. When we first meet someone, physical appearance plays a significant role in attraction. It is often the first thing we notice, and it influences whether we pursue a connection. But as relationships deepen, the importance of physical attractiveness diminishes. Personality, character, shared values, and emotional connection become far more significant. Studies show that people in long-term relationships often rate their partners as more attractive over time, even if objective physical appearance has changed. This is known as the halo effect. When we love someone, we see them through the lens of affection, and their inner qualities enhance our perception of their physical appearance. Kindness, humor, intelligence, these traits make someone more beautiful to us. Conversely, a physically attractive person who is unkind or incompatible may seem less appealing the more we know them. Physical appearance is also transient. Bodies age, change, and sometimes fail. Basing a relationship solely on looks is building on an unstable foundation. What endures is the connection, the shared life, the memories, and the bond that has been forged through years of experience. This does not mean attraction is unimportant. It means attraction evolves. What once drew us in becomes less about external features and more about the whole person, about who they are and who we have become together. True beauty, it turns out, is not skin deep. It is woven through the entirety of a person, revealed gradually and appreciated most deeply by those who truly know them. Many cultures have unique traditions and rituals around love and marriage. From the elaborate matchmaking processes in some Asian cultures to the communal wedding celebrations in African villages, love is expressed and honored in countless ways. In India, arranged marriages are often preceded by horoscope matching to ensure astrological compatibility. In Ireland, a traditional claddagh ring symbolizes love, loyalty, and friendship. In Japan, omiai is a formal matchmaking process where families arrange meetings between potential partners. In Mexico, the lazo ceremony involves draping a floral rope around the couple to symbolize their union. Each tradition reflects the values and beliefs of its culture. Some emphasize family involvement, others individual choice. Some focus on elaborate rituals, others on simple vows. But across all cultures, there is a common thread: the recognition that love is significant, that it deserves to be honored, and that joining two lives is an event worth celebrating. These traditions also remind us that love is not just a private experience. It is a social one, witnessed and supported by community. Modern couples may choose to blend traditions, creating ceremonies that honor their heritage while reflecting their unique relationship. The diversity of love traditions around the world is a testament to the universality of the emotion itself. Love transcends culture, language, and geography, even as each culture finds its own way to give it form and meaning. The honeymoon tradition dates back to ancient Babylon. The custom of taking a special trip after a wedding has roots that stretch back thousands of years. In ancient Babylon, it was tradition for the bride's father to provide the groom with a month's supply of mead, a honey-based alcoholic beverage, to be consumed during the first lunar month of marriage. This month became known as the honey month, which eventually evolved into the term honeymoon. In medieval Europe, newlyweds would often retreat into privacy for a month to consummate the marriage and begin their life together away from the scrutiny of family and community. Over time, the honeymoon evolved into a celebratory trip, a time for the couple to relax, bond, and enjoy each other's company without the pressures of daily life. Today, honeymoons vary widely, from exotic vacations to simple getaways, but the purpose remains the same: to create space for connection and celebration at the beginning of a marriage. The honeymoon is a threshold, a liminal time between the wedding and the start of everyday married life. It is a chance to savor the joy, to dream about the future, and to establish the foundation of a new chapter. For many couples, the memories made during the honeymoon become cherished touchstones, moments of pure happiness that sustain them through the challenges that inevitably come. Love languages, a concept popularized by Gary Chapman, describe different ways people give and receive love. According to Chapman, there are 5 primary love languages: words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. Each person has a primary love language, the way they most naturally express affection and the way they most need to receive it. When partners have different love languages, misunderstandings can arise. One person may show love through acts of service, doing chores or cooking meals, while the other needs words of affirmation and feels unloved when those words are not spoken. The key is learning your partner's love language and making an effort to speak it, even if it does not come naturally to you. This requires awareness, communication, and intentionality. It is about recognizing that your way of loving may not be the same as the way your partner needs to be loved. The love languages framework has been critiqued for oversimplifying the complexity of relationships, but many couples find it helpful as a starting point for conversation. It encourages us to think about how we show love and how we want to be loved. It reminds us that love is not one size fits all, that what feels loving to one person may not register the same way to another. Understanding this can reduce frustration and increase empathy. It shifts the focus from what we intend to how it is received. In the end, love is as much about understanding and meeting our partner's needs as it is about expressing our own feelings. Infatuation and love are not the same thing. Infatuation is intense, all-consuming, and often short-lived. It is characterized by obsessive thoughts, idealization, and a heightened emotional state. The object of infatuation seems perfect, flawless, and the possibility of a relationship feels urgent. Infatuation is driven largely by physical attraction and the thrill of the unknown. It lacks the depth and stability of true love. Love, on the other hand, develops over time. It is based on knowing the other person fully, including their flaws, and choosing to commit anyway. Love is calmer, more secure, and less volatile. It involves trust, respect, and a genuine concern for the other person's well-being. While infatuation asks, "What can this person do for me?" love asks, "What can I give to this person?" Infatuation is self-focused. Love is other-focused, or better yet, it is mutual, a partnership where both people invest in each other's happiness. Many relationships begin with infatuation. That initial spark draws people together. But for the relationship to last, infatuation must evolve into love. This transition can be difficult. Some people become addicted to the high of infatuation and move from one relationship to another, seeking that feeling. But the deepest satisfaction comes not from constant novelty, but from the slow, steady growth of a bond that weathers time. Infatuation is fireworks. Love is a hearth fire, warm, enduring, and essential. Laughter and playfulness are important for maintaining romantic connection. As relationships mature, the responsibilities of life, work, bills, perhaps children, can make things feel serious and heavy. In this context, play becomes radical. Couples who make time for fun, who laugh together, who engage in playful banter and activities, maintain a vitality in their relationship. Play is not frivolous. It is essential. It reminds partners that they are not just co-managers of a household or co-parents. They are companions who enjoy each other's company. Playfulness reduces stress, fosters creativity, and creates positive associations with the relationship. It can be as simple as teasing, playing a game, dancing in the kitchen, or engaging in a shared hobby. It does not have to be elaborate. What matters is the spirit of it, the willingness to be silly, to let go of self-consciousness, and to prioritize joy. Couples who play together also tend to communicate better. Play requires cooperation, negotiation, and responsiveness. It builds skills that translate into other areas of the relationship, and playfulness can diffuse tension. A well-timed joke or a playful gesture can break the ice after a disagreement, reminding both partners that the relationship is bigger than any single conflict. In a culture that often emphasizes productivity and seriousness, choosing to play is an act of rebellion and love. It is a declaration that joy matters, that connection is worth protecting, and that love, at its best, should be fun. Loving someone often means accepting them as they are, not trying to change them. One of the most common sources of conflict in relationships is the desire to change a partner. We think, if only they were more organized, more social, more ambitious, less stubborn, then everything would be better. But attempting to change another person rarely works and often breeds resentment. People change when they choose to, not when they are pressured. True love involves accepting your partner as they are, flaws and all. This does not mean accepting harmful behavior or abandoning your own needs. It means recognizing that your partner is a whole person with their own history, personality, and autonomy. They are not a project to be fixed. Acceptance does not preclude growth. In a healthy relationship, both partners inspire and support each other's personal development. But this is different from trying to mold someone into an ideal. It is about encouraging their authentic self to flourish, not reshaping them into someone else. Acceptance also means letting go of the fantasy of who you thought they would be and embracing who they actually are. This can be difficult. We often fall in love with potential, with what we imagine someone could become. But sustainable love is grounded in reality. It is choosing to love the person in front of you, not the person you wish they were. Acceptance is a form of respect. It says, I see you, I honor who you are, and I choose you. That is a profound and liberating form of love. Love has inspired some of history's greatest works of art. From the poetry of Rumi and Shakespeare to the paintings of Klimt and Chagall, love has been a central theme in human creativity. Artists have sought to capture its beauty, its pain, its ecstasy, and its mystery. Love songs have been written in every era, in every language, spanning genres from classical to pop. Love stories dominate literature, theater, and film. Why does love inspire so much art? Perhaps because it is one of the most intense and universal human experiences. It touches everyone, regardless of culture, class, or time period. It evokes powerful emotions that artists seek to express and audiences seek to feel. Art allows us to explore love in all its forms: the joy of new romance, the comfort of long companionship, the grief of loss, the hope of reconciliation. Through art, we see our own experiences reflected and validated. We feel less alone. We are reminded that love, in all its complexity, is shared by millions before us and will be shared by millions after. Creating art about love is also a way to process and understand it. Writing a love letter, composing a song, painting a portrait, these acts help us articulate what we feel, to make sense of the ineffable. And when we encounter art about love, we are given new language, new metaphors, new ways to understand our own hearts. Love and art are intertwined, each enriching the other, each offering a glimpse into the depths of human experience. Long-term couples often develop their own private language. Over years together, partners create a unique way of communicating that is full of inside jokes, nicknames, references, and shorthand. A single word or glance can convey an entire conversation. This private language is a marker of intimacy. It signals that you share a history, a set of experiences that no one else can fully understand. It creates a sense of us against the world, a bond that is exclusive and special. This language evolves organically. It might include silly pet names, phrases from shared experiences, or specific tones that communicate affection or humor. It can also include non-verbal cues, a certain look that means, "Let's leave this party," a touch that says, "I'm here," a sigh that signals frustration or contentment. Outsiders might find this language baffling or even annoying, but for the couple, it is a source of connection and comfort. It is a reminder that you know each other deeply, that you have built something together over time. This shared lexicon also makes communication more efficient. You do not have to explain everything because your partner already understands the context. You can be vulnerable, playful, or serious with a few simple words. The development of a private language is a natural part of long-term relationships, a testament to the depth of understanding and the richness of shared life. It is one of the quieter, more overlooked joys of lasting love. Curiosity about your partner helps sustain long-term relationships. In the early stages of a relationship, curiosity comes naturally. You want to know everything about the other person, their history, their dreams, their favorite things. But over time, especially in long-term relationships, there is a tendency to assume you know everything. You stop asking questions. You stop being curious. This can lead to stagnation. Maintaining curiosity means continuing to see your partner as a dynamic, evolving person. People change over the years. Their interests shift. Their perspectives develop. Their goals evolve. Asking questions, showing genuine interest in their thoughts and experiences, keeps the connection alive. It signals that you still care, that you are not taking them for granted. Curiosity also prevents you from making assumptions. Assuming you know what your partner is thinking or feeling without asking can lead to misunderstandings. Asking keeps communication open. It invites your partner to share and makes space for deeper connection. Simple questions can go a long way. What's been on your mind lately? What are you excited about? How are you feeling about work, your family, us? These questions show that you see your partner as an individual with an inner life, not just as a role they play in your life. Curiosity is a form of respect and care. It keeps the relationship dynamic, prevents complacency, and fosters ongoing intimacy. It reminds both partners that there is always more to discover, that the person you love is not a static object, but a living, changing being, full of depth and mystery. The 5-to-1 ratio is important for relationship satisfaction. Psychologist John Gottman, who has extensively studied relationships, found that successful couples have a ratio of approximately 5 positive interactions for every 1 negative interaction. This applies to both everyday moments and conflicts. During disagreements, couples who maintain this ratio are far more likely to stay together and report satisfaction. Positive interactions include expressions of affection, humor, interest, and appreciation. Negative interactions include criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. It is not that couples should avoid all negativity. Conflict is normal and sometimes necessary, but it needs to be balanced by far more positivity. When negativity outweighs positivity, the relationship suffers. Partners feel more attacked than appreciated, more criticized than valued. Over time, this erodes the bond. Maintaining the 5-to-1 ratio requires intentionality, especially in long-term relationships where it is easy to fall into patterns of taking each other for granted. It means making an effort to notice and acknowledge the good, to express gratitude, to be affectionate, to share moments of joy. It also means handling conflict with care, avoiding contempt, and focusing on resolution rather than blame. This ratio is not a strict formula, but a helpful guideline. It reminds us that the overall emotional climate of a relationship matters. Love thrives in an environment where positivity is abundant and negativity, while present, is the exception rather than the rule. Nostalgia can strengthen bonds between partners. Reflecting on shared memories, looking at old photos, or reminiscing about early days of the relationship can enhance feelings of connection and satisfaction. Nostalgia creates a sense of continuity. It reminds you of how far you have come together, the challenges you have overcome, and the joy you have shared. It reinforces the narrative of your relationship, the story of us. Studies show that couples who engage in nostalgic reflection report feeling closer and more committed. Nostalgia also buffers against present difficulties. When things are tough, remembering happier times can provide comfort and perspective. It reminds you that your relationship has weathered storms before and can do so again. Shared nostalgia is particularly powerful because it is exclusive. The memories belong to both of you, and no one else can fully understand or appreciate them. This creates intimacy and reinforces the bond. However, nostalgia should not become a trap. If you spend all your time longing for the past, you may neglect the present and future. Healthy nostalgia balances appreciation for what was, with engagement in what is, and excitement for what will be. It honors the past without being imprisoned by it. In this way, nostalgia is a tool for connection, a way to celebrate the journey while remaining present to the ongoing adventure of love. The concept of unconditional positive regard is crucial in supportive relationships. Psychologist Carl Rogers introduced this term to describe an attitude of accepting and respecting another person regardless of their behavior. In the context of romantic relationships, it means offering your partner support and validation, even when you disagree or when they make mistakes. It does not mean you approve of everything they do. It means you separate the person from the behavior. You can challenge their actions while still affirming their worth. This creates a safe environment where both partners can be vulnerable, take risks, and grow. When people feel unconditionally accepted, they are more likely to be authentic. They do not have to hide parts of themselves for fear of rejection. This fosters deeper intimacy and trust. It also encourages personal development. Knowing that you are loved for who you are, not for what you achieve or how you perform, provides a secure base from which to explore, change, and become. Unconditional positive regard does not mean enabling harmful behavior or ignoring serious issues. It means approaching your partner with compassion, seeking to understand rather than judge, and maintaining belief in their fundamental goodness even when they falter. This attitude is challenging to sustain, especially during conflict, but it is one of the most loving stances we can take. It says, "I see you fully, I accept you completely, and I am here with you, no matter what." Romantic gestures, no matter how small, contribute to relationship satisfaction. Grand gestures are memorable, but it is often the small, everyday acts of love that sustain a relationship. Bringing home your partner's favorite treat, sending a sweet text during the day, leaving a note of appreciation, offering a back rub after a long day. These small gestures accumulate over time, building a reservoir of goodwill and affection. They communicate that you are thinking of your partner, that you care about their happiness, and that you are willing to put in effort. What makes a gesture romantic is not its scale, but its thoughtfulness. It is about knowing what your partner values and responding to it. For some, romance is flowers and candlelit dinners. For others, it is fixing something that is broken or listening without judgment. The key is personalization. A romantic gesture should reflect your partner's preferences and needs, not a generic idea of romance. Consistency matters too. Occasional grand gestures are wonderful, but they cannot compensate for a lack of daily care. Relationships thrive on steady, small acts of love. They create a sense of being cherished, of being a priority. Over time, these gestures become the fabric of the relationship, woven into the daily rhythm of life. They are proof that love is not just a feeling, but a practice, a series of choices made again and again, in small moments and quiet ways. The ability to repair after conflict is more important than avoiding conflict altogether. All couples fight. Disagreements are inevitable when two people with different perspectives, needs, and histories share a life. What distinguishes happy couples from unhappy ones is not the absence of conflict, but the ability to repair and reconnect after it. Repair attempts are actions or words that de-escalate tension and restore goodwill. They can be apologies, humor, expressions of affection, or simply a willingness to listen. Successful couples are skilled at making and recognizing repair attempts. They do not let conflicts spiral out of control. They know when to pause, to soften, to extend an olive branch. They also give each other the benefit of the doubt, assuming good intentions, even in moments of frustration. Repair is not always immediate. Sometimes it takes time to cool down and gain perspective. But what matters is the commitment to come back together, to address the issue, and to move forward. Couples who avoid conflict altogether may seem harmonious, but they often suppress important issues, which can lead to resentment and distance. Healthy conflict, followed by effective repair, actually strengthens relationships. It allows both partners to express needs and boundaries, and it builds trust in the relationship's resilience. Knowing that you can fight and still come back to each other creates a sense of security. It says, we are strong enough to handle this, we can be honest with each other, and we are committed to finding our way back together. Love can exist across great distances and long separations. History is filled with stories of love enduring across oceans, wars, and decades. Soldiers and their sweethearts waiting years for reunion. Immigrants leaving loved ones behind in hopes of a better future. Couples separated by work, education, or circumstance, holding on to the bond through letters, calls, and faith. Distance tests love, but it does not necessarily diminish it. In some ways, it can clarify what matters. When you cannot rely on physical presence, you must rely on trust, communication, and emotional connection. You learn to express love in words, to be intentional about staying connected, and to appreciate the time you do have together. Modern technology has made long-distance relationships more manageable, but the challenges remain. The ache of separation, the difficulty of coordinating time zones, the fear of drifting apart. Yet many couples navigate these challenges successfully. They set goals for eventual proximity. They visit when possible. They create rituals, like watching a show together over video chat or sending daily messages. They find ways to stay present in each other's lives despite the miles. Distance also creates longing, and longing can intensify love. The anticipation of reunion, the joy of seeing each other after time apart, these experiences can be deeply romantic. Distance is not ideal, but it does not have to be fatal to a relationship. Love, at its core, is not about proximity. It is about connection, commitment, and the choice to hold someone in your heart, no matter where they are. Marriage has evolved significantly throughout human history. For much of history, marriage was less about love and more about economics, politics, and social alliances. Families arranged marriages to consolidate wealth, forge political ties, or ensure survival. Women were often treated as property, exchanged between families. Love, if it developed, was considered a bonus, but not a requirement. The idea of marrying for love is relatively recent, gaining prominence in the West during the 18th and 19th centuries, with the rise of romanticism and individualism. As societies industrialized and people gained more autonomy, The expectation that marriage should be based on mutual affection and choice became more common. Today, in many parts of the world, love is considered the primary or sole reason to marry. This shift has brought both benefits and challenges. On one hand, marrying for love honors individual agency and emotional fulfillment. On the other hand, it places enormous pressure on marriage to meet all emotional, romantic, and companionship needs, which can be difficult to sustain over a lifetime. Different cultures continue to approach marriage in varied ways. Some still practice arranged marriages with successful outcomes. Others embrace cohabitation without formal marriage. LGBTQ couples fight for and celebrate the legal recognition of their unions. The institution of marriage continues to evolve, reflecting changing values, beliefs, and social structures. What remains constant is the human desire for partnership, for a witness to our lives, for someone to build a shared future with, whether that partnership is formalized through marriage or not. The power of apology in relationships cannot be overstated. A genuine apology can heal wounds, rebuild trust, and restore connection. It is one of the most important tools in a relationship. But apologies must be sincere to be effective. A true apology involves several components: acknowledgement of what you did wrong, expression of regret, and understanding of the impact it had on your partner, taking responsibility without making excuses, and a commitment to change the behavior. "I'm sorry you feel that way" is not an apology. It deflects responsibility and invalidates the other person's feelings. "I'm sorry I hurt you" is better, but it is incomplete without acknowledging what you did and committing to do differently in the future. Some people struggle with apologies because they equate saying sorry with admitting they are a bad person. But apologizing is not about your worth as a person. It is about acknowledging that you made a mistake and that your partner deserves to be treated better. It is an act of humility and care. Receiving apologies also requires grace. When your partner apologizes sincerely, accepting it and moving toward forgiveness strengthens the relationship. Holding on to anger or bringing up past mistakes repeatedly undermines the repair process. Apologies and forgiveness work together to maintain a healthy relationship. They create a cycle of accountability and grace, where both partners are willing to admit fault and willing to forgive. This does not mean tolerating repeated harm, but it does mean recognizing that everyone makes mistakes, and that love involves giving each other room to grow and improve. The concept of a growth mindset applies to relationships as well as individuals. Psychologist Carol Dweck introduced the idea that people can have either a fixed mindset, believing that abilities and traits are static, or a growth mindset, believing that abilities can be developed through effort and learning. This applies to relationships too. People with a fixed mindset about relationships believe that compatibility is either there or it is not. They think that if a relationship requires work, it must not be meant to be. They give up when challenges arise, believing that the right relationship should be easy. People with a growth mindset about relationships understand that all relationships require effort. They see challenges as opportunities to learn and grow together. They believe that love can deepen and improve over time through communication, compromise, and mutual investment. Research shows that people with a growth mindset about relationships report higher satisfaction and are more resilient in the face of difficulties. They do not interpret conflict as a sign of incompatibility, but as a normal part of two people navigating differences. They are more willing to seek help, to communicate openly, and to work on the relationship. A growth mindset does not mean staying in an unhealthy or abusive relationship. It means recognizing that healthy relationships require ongoing attention and that challenges do not necessarily mean the relationship is doomed. It is about believing that love is not just something you fall into, but something you build, nurture, and sustain through conscious effort and care. The role of humor in coping with stress within relationships is significant. Life is full of stressors: work pressures, financial worries, health issues, family conflicts. When couples face these stressors together, humor can be a valuable coping mechanism. It lightens the mood, provides perspective, and reduces the physiological effects of stress. Couples who use humor effectively are better able to manage difficult situations without letting stress erode their bond. Humor can take many forms. It might be making a joke about a frustrating situation, finding the absurdity in a mishap, or using playful teasing to ease tension. The key is that the humor is shared and does not come at the expense of one partner. Mean-spirited jokes or mockery can damage relationships, but gentle, affectionate humor strengthens them. Laughter releases endorphins, lowers cortisol levels, and creates positive associations. When you can laugh together during hard times, it reinforces the idea that you are a team, that you can face challenges together, and that joy is still possible even when life is difficult. Humor also prevents catastrophizing. It helps you step back and see that while something is stressful, it is not the end of the world. This perspective is healthy and helps maintain balance. Couples who laugh together through stress are more likely to emerge stronger, with a sense that they can handle whatever life throws at them. Humor is not about avoiding problems. It is about facing them with resilience, lightness, and the knowledge that you do not have to face them alone. Acts of sacrifice in a relationship, when balanced, strengthen the bond. Sacrifice means giving up something you want for the benefit of your partner or the relationship. It might be compromising on where to live, adjusting your career plans, or foregoing a personal preference to accommodate your partner's needs. Healthy sacrifice is voluntary and reciprocal. Both partners make sacrifices for each other over time, creating a balance. This mutual giving builds trust and demonstrates commitment. It shows that you value the relationship more than individual preferences. However, sacrifice can become unhealthy if it is one-sided or if one partner consistently suppresses their needs. This leads to resentment and imbalance. Healthy relationships require both partners to feel that their needs are considered and that they are not always the one giving up what matters to them. The willingness to sacrifice is important, but so is the willingness to honor your own needs and boundaries. It is a delicate balance. Research shows that people who make sacrifices for their partners feel more satisfied and committed, but only when those sacrifices are freely chosen and reciprocated. When sacrifice feels coerced or unappreciated, it has the opposite effect. Communication is key. Talking about what you are willing to sacrifice and what you need in return ensures that both partners feel valued. Sacrifice, when balanced and mutual, is a testament to the depth of love. It says, "I care about you enough to put your needs alongside mine, and I trust you to do the same for me." The importance of maintaining individuality within a relationship is often overlooked. In the early stages of love, there is a tendency to merge, to spend all your time together, to adopt each other's interests, to become we. While this closeness is beautiful, it is also important to maintain a sense of self. Healthy relationships consist of two whole individuals who choose to build a life together, not two halves desperately seeking completion. Maintaining individuality means having your own interests, friendships, goals, and identity outside the relationship. It means spending time alone or with others, pursuing hobbies, and honoring your own needs. This is not a sign of distance or lack of commitment. It is a sign of a healthy, balanced relationship. When both partners have full lives, they bring more to the relationship. They have stories to share, experiences to discuss, and personal growth that enriches the partnership. They also avoid the trap of codependency, where one or both partners lose themselves in the relationship and rely too heavily on the other for their sense of identity and worth. Encouraging your partner to pursue their own interests and supporting their personal growth is a gift. It says, "I love you as you are, and I want you to continue becoming who you are meant to be." It also reduces pressure on the relationship to meet every need. No single person can be everything to another. Having outside friendships, hobbies, and pursuits ensures that you do not expect your partner to fulfill roles they cannot or should not fill. Individuality and togetherness are not opposites. They are complementary. A strong relationship honors both. Expressing appreciation for small things creates a positive cycle in relationships. It is easy to notice when something goes wrong, but how often do we notice and acknowledge when things go right? When your partner does something thoughtful, no matter how small, expressing appreciation reinforces that behavior and creates positive momentum. A simple thank you for doing the dishes, for listening, for being patient. These acknowledgements make your partner feel seen and valued. Over time, this creates a culture of appreciation within the relationship. Both partners become more attuned to the good things the other does, and both feel motivated to continue showing care. Appreciation also shifts focus from what is lacking to what is present. Instead of dwelling on what your partner did not do, you notice what they did. This changes the emotional tone of the relationship. Gratitude fosters contentment, reduces resentment, and strengthens the bond. Interestingly, expressing appreciation benefits the giver as much as the receiver. When you actively look for things to appreciate, you train your brain to notice positives. This makes you happier and more satisfied with the relationship. It is a simple practice with profound effects. You do not need to wait for grand gestures. Notice the everyday acts of kindness, the quiet efforts, the consistency, and say thank you. Those two words, when heartfelt, carry enormous power. They remind your partner that their contributions matter, that they are not taken for granted, and that they are loved. The practice of shared rituals during difficult times provides stability. When life becomes chaotic, stressful, or painful, rituals can serve as anchors. They provide a sense of normalcy and continuity when everything else feels uncertain. For couples, maintaining shared rituals during difficult times, whether it is a morning cup of coffee together, a weekly walk, or a nightly routine of talking before bed, these practices offer comfort and connection. They remind both partners that despite the challenges, the foundation of the relationship remains strong. Rituals also create space to check in with each other, to share worries, and to offer support. In the midst of crisis, it is easy to become isolated, each person dealing with stress in their own way. Rituals ensure that you come together regularly, that you remain connected even when life pulls you in different directions. They do not have to be elaborate. The power of a ritual lies in its consistency and intentionality. It is a commitment to showing up for each other, even when it is hard, even when you do not feel like it. During grief, illness, financial strain, or other hardships, these small acts of togetherness can make all the difference. They are reminders that you are not alone, that you have a partner, and that this too shall pass. Rituals ground us, they connect us, and they sustain us through the storms of life. The concept of emotional labor in relationships is important to understand. Emotional labor refers to the work involved in managing emotions, both your own and others, and maintaining the emotional well-being of the relationship. This includes remembering important dates, planning social events, managing conflicts, providing emotional support, and anticipating needs. In many heterosexual relationships, emotional labor has historically fallen disproportionately on women, a pattern that can lead to burnout and resentment. Recognizing and sharing emotional labor is crucial for balance and fairness. It involves both partners actively participating in the care and maintenance of the relationship. This means not just waiting to be told what to do, but proactively noticing what needs to be done and doing it. It means being emotionally present, offering support without being asked, and taking responsibility for your own emotions, rather than expecting your partner to manage them. When emotional labor is shared, both partners feel valued and supported. The relationship becomes a partnership in the truest sense, where both people are equally invested in its health and happiness. Open communication about emotional labor is important. Sometimes one partner may not realize they are leaving the bulk of this work to the other. Talking about it, without blame, can lead to greater awareness and more equitable distribution. Sharing emotional labor is an act of love. It says, "I see the effort you put in, I appreciate it, and I want to contribute equally to the well-being of our relationship." The role of hope and optimism in sustaining love cannot be underestimated. Relationships inevitably go through difficult periods. There are times of stress, conflict, doubt, and distance. What carries couples through these times is often hope, the belief that things can and will get better. Hope is not naive. It is not pretending problems do not exist. It is maintaining faith in the relationship's potential while actively working to improve it. Optimistic couples are more resilient. They interpret challenges as temporary and solvable rather than permanent and insurmountable. They believe in their ability to work through difficulties together. This mindset shapes behavior. Hopeful partners are more likely to communicate openly, seek solutions, and invest effort into repair. They do not give up at the first sign of trouble. Hope also protects against the negative spiral of despair. When one or both partners lose hope, they stop trying. They become passive or avoidant, and the relationship deteriorates. Maintaining hope requires intention. It involves focusing on positive aspects, remembering why you chose each other, and visualizing a positive future together. It also involves celebrating small victories and progress. Hope is nurtured through action. When you see that your efforts are making a difference, hope is reinforced. This creates a positive cycle, where hope inspires action. Action leads to improvement, and improvement strengthens hope. In love, as in life, hope is a powerful force. It sustains us, motivates us, and reminds us that even in darkness, there is the possibility of light. The transition to parenthood is one of the most challenging periods for a relationship. The arrival of a child brings immense joy, but it also brings stress, sleep deprivation, financial strain, and a radical shift in priorities. The couple, which once had time and energy for each other, suddenly must navigate the demands of caring for a helpless infant. Research shows that relationship satisfaction often declines after the birth of a child, particularly in the first year. This is normal, but can be alarming for couples who were not prepared for it. The key to navigating this transition is communication, teamwork, and compassion. Both partners are adjusting to new roles and responsibilities. Both are exhausted and overwhelmed. Recognizing this and supporting each other, rather than competing over who has it harder, is crucial. It is also important to maintain connection as a couple, even in small ways. A few minutes of conversation at the end of the day, a hug, a shared laugh, these moments matter. They remind you that you are still partners, still a team, still connected beyond your roles as parents. Seeking support, whether from family, friends, or professionals, can also ease the burden. Parenthood is not meant to be done in isolation, and while the early years are intense, they pass. Couples who weather this transition often emerge stronger, with a deeper appreciation for each other and the life they have built together. The challenge is real. but so is the reward. Love is not always enough to sustain a relationship. This is a difficult truth, but an important one. You can deeply love someone and still not be compatible. You can care for someone and still choose to leave because the relationship is unhealthy or unfulfilling. Love is essential, but it is not the only ingredient in a successful relationship. You also need respect, trust, communication, shared values, and commitment. You need to be willing to work through difficulties, to grow together, and to prioritize the relationship. Sometimes, despite love, these elements are missing. Perhaps one person is unwilling to change harmful behavior. Perhaps life circumstances make the relationship unsustainable. Perhaps the differences between you are too great to bridge. In these cases, love alone cannot hold the relationship together. Recognizing this is not a failure. It is maturity. It is understanding that love is complex, that it exists within the context of many other factors, and that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is to let go. Ending a relationship does not erase the love you felt. It does not mean the relationship was meaningless. It means that love, in this instance, was not enough to overcome the obstacles. And that is okay. It is part of the human experience, part of learning what we need, what we can give, and what relationships can realistically provide. Love is powerful, but it is not magic. It cannot fix everything. And acknowledging that allows us to approach relationships with both hope and realism. The concept of a secure base in relationships is drawn from attachment theory. A secure base is someone who provides safety and support, allowing the other person to explore the world, take risks, and grow, knowing they have a safe place to return to. In romantic relationships, being a secure base for your partner means offering consistent support, encouragement, and acceptance. It means celebrating their successes, comforting them in failure, and providing a stable presence they can rely on. This does not mean controlling or limiting them. It means being their anchor, their safe harbor, while allowing them the freedom to pursue their goals and interests. When both partners serve as secure bases for each other, the relationship becomes a platform for individual growth and mutual support. Each person feels empowered to take on challenges, knowing they have a partner who believes in them and will be there regardless of the outcome. This dynamic fosters independence and interdependence simultaneously. You are strong as individuals, and you are stronger together. Creating a secure base involves trust, consistency, and emotional availability. It means showing up, being present, and offering reassurance when needed. It also means respecting boundaries and autonomy, understanding that supporting someone does not mean solving their problems for them. It means believing in their capability and offering love that empowers rather than constrains. A secure base is one of the greatest gifts you can give or receive in a relationship. It transforms love from a source of comfort into a source of courage. The decline of passion over time does not mean the end of love. In long-term relationships, the intense passion of the early stages typically fades. This is often misunderstood as falling out of love, but it is simply a natural evolution. The neurochemical rush that characterizes new love cannot be sustained indefinitely. The brain adapts, and the relationship settles into a different phase. This phase is characterized by companionate love, a deep, enduring affection built on intimacy, trust, and commitment. Companionate love may lack the fireworks of passion, but it offers something more stable and sustainable. It is the love that sustains marriages and long-term partnerships. It is comfortable, secure, and deeply satisfying in its own way. That said, passion does not have to disappear entirely. Couples can maintain or reignite passion through intentional effort. Novelty, adventure, physical affection, and quality time together all contribute to sustaining desire. The key is recognizing that passion in a long-term relationship looks different than it did at the beginning. It is less about constant intensity and more about moments of connection, sparks that flare up within the context of a stable, loving partnership. Understanding the natural trajectory of passion helps couples navigate the changes without panic. It reassures them that the evolution is normal and that love can deepen even as passion shifts. The challenge is to embrace the new phase, to appreciate its gifts, while also nurturing the aspects of romance and desire that keep the relationship vibrant. Interdependence is healthier than either dependence or complete independence. In relationships, balance is key. Dependence, where one partner relies entirely on the other for emotional, financial, or social needs, creates an unhealthy dynamic. It places too much pressure on one person and strips the other of autonomy. Complete independence, on the other hand, where partners function as separate entities with minimal reliance on each other, lacks the depth and intimacy that make relationships fulfilling. Interdependence is the middle ground. It means both partners are capable and whole as individuals, but they choose to rely on each other in healthy ways. They support each other, share responsibilities, and turn to each other for comfort and companionship. They are independent enough to maintain their own identities and interests, but interdependent enough to be genuinely connected. Interdependence requires trust. It means being vulnerable, asking for help when needed, and allowing your partner to contribute to your well-being. It also means respecting your partner's autonomy and not trying to control or dominate them. In an interdependent relationship, both partners feel supported without feeling suffocated, connected without feeling consumed. They function as a team, but each member of the team is strong and capable. This balance creates a healthy, sustainable dynamic where both people can thrive individually and together. Interdependence is the hallmark of mature, healthy love. The phenomenon of the 7-year itch refers to a critical period in many relationships. The idea is that around the 7th year of marriage or commitment, couples often experience a decline in satisfaction and an increase in the temptation to stray or leave. While the exact timeline varies, research does show that relationship satisfaction tends to decline after the initial honeymoon phase and faces challenges at various points, including around the 7-year mark. This is often attributed to familiarity, routine, and the fading of novelty. The excitement of the early years gives way to the predictability of daily life. Responsibilities, such as children, careers, and financial pressures, can overshadow romance. Partners may feel taken for granted or bored. The 7-year itch is not inevitable. Couples who are aware of this potential pitfall can take steps to prevent it. This includes maintaining novelty through new experiences, prioritizing time together, keeping communication open, and addressing issues before they fester. It also involves realistic expectations. Understanding that all long-term relationships go through phases, some easier than others, helps couples weather the difficult periods without giving up. The 7-year itch is a reminder that relationships require ongoing attention and effort. Love is not static. It needs to be nurtured, refreshed, and renewed. Couples who successfully navigate this period often emerge with a stronger, more resilient bond, having proven to themselves that they can face challenges and choose each other again. The power of physical proximity in forming and maintaining relationships is well documented. The mere exposure effect suggests that we tend to like people we see frequently. Proximity increases familiarity, and familiarity often breeds affection. This is why so many relationships form in environments where people spend time together: workplaces, schools, neighborhoods, social groups. Regular interaction allows us to get to know someone, to find common ground, and to develop trust. In established relationships, physical proximity remains important. Spending time in the same space, even if not actively interacting, creates a sense of togetherness. Cohabitation, for instance, allows couples to share daily life in a way that long-distance relationships cannot. But proximity can also be taken for granted. Just because you live together does not mean you are truly present with each other. Couples can be in the same room, yet completely disconnected, each absorbed in their own devices or thoughts. Intentional proximity, where you are physically present and emotionally engaged, is what strengthens the bond. This might mean sitting together on the couch, cooking a meal side by side, or simply being in the same space without distractions. The comfort of physical proximity, the ability to reach out and touch, to make eye contact, to share space, these things matter. They create a sense of safety and belonging. While love can endure across distance, proximity offers a richness and ease of connection that is irreplaceable. It is one of the simple, often overlooked gifts of being together. Intimacy is built through vulnerability and self-disclosure. True intimacy goes beyond physical closeness. It is the emotional and psychological connection that comes from being truly known and accepted. This requires vulnerability, the willingness to share your inner world, your fears, your dreams, your insecurities, your truths. Self-disclosure is the act of revealing these aspects of yourself to your partner. When you share something personal and your partner responds with empathy and acceptance, intimacy deepens. You feel seen, understood, and valued for who you truly are. This creates a bond that is difficult to break. Intimacy is reciprocal. Both partners must be willing to open up. If one person is always sharing and the other is always guarded, the relationship will feel unbalanced. Trust is essential for vulnerability. You cannot be vulnerable with someone you do not trust to handle your disclosures with care. Trust is built gradually, through consistent, positive experiences. Intimacy also requires emotional safety. Both partners must create an environment where honesty is welcomed, where mistakes are met with compassion, and where differences are respected. When this safety is present, vulnerability feels less risky. You know that even if you share something difficult, your partner will not use it against you or withdraw their love. Intimacy is the heart of a deep, meaningful relationship. It is what transforms a partnership from functional to fulfilling, from surface level to soul deep. It is built slowly through countless moments of honesty, vulnerability, and connection. And once established, it is one of the most precious aspects of love. The role of trust in relationships is foundational. Without trust, love struggles to survive. Trust means believing in your partner's reliability, integrity, and intentions. It means feeling secure that they will honor their commitments, be honest with you, and act in the best interest of the relationship. Trust is built through consistency. When your partner says they will do something, and they do it, trust grows. When they are honest, even when it is difficult, trust deepens. When they show up for you repeatedly, trust becomes solid. But trust is fragile. It can be broken in a moment, through betrayal, dishonesty, or repeated neglect. Rebuilding trust after it has been broken is possible, but it requires time, effort, and genuine change. The person who broke the trust must take responsibility, demonstrate remorse, and commit to different behavior. The person who was hurt must be willing to forgive and give the relationship another chance, though this is not always possible or advisable, especially in cases of repeated or severe betrayal. Trust also involves giving your partner the benefit of the doubt, not jumping to negative conclusions, and communicating openly when doubts arise. It means managing your own insecurities, and not projecting past hurts onto your current partner. In a trusting relationship, both partners feel safe. They do not have to constantly monitor or question each other. They can be vulnerable, knowing that their partner will not exploit that vulnerability. Trust frees us to love fully, to invest deeply, and to build a life together with confidence. It is the bedrock upon which all other aspects of a healthy relationship rest. The importance of equality and fairness in relationships is crucial for long-term satisfaction. When one partner consistently gives more, whether in terms of effort, compromise, or sacrifice, resentment builds. Healthy relationships are characterized by a sense of balance and reciprocity. Both partners contribute to the relationship, though the contributions may look different depending on circumstances. Equality does not mean keeping score or splitting everything 50-50. It means both partners feel that the relationship is fair, that their needs are considered, and that they are valued. This requires communication and flexibility. Sometimes one partner will carry more of the load because of illness, job demands, or other life circumstances. That is okay, as long as it is temporary and reciprocated when roles reverse. Problems arise when imbalance becomes the norm, when one partner always prioritizes the other's needs over their own, or when one partner takes without giving. Fairness also extends to decision-making. Both partners should have a voice in major decisions, and their opinions should be respected. Power imbalances, where one partner dominates and the other submits, are unhealthy. They create resentment and erode intimacy. Equality fosters respect, partnership, and mutual support. It ensures that both people feel valued and that the relationship is a source of fulfillment for both, not just one. Striving for fairness, talking openly about balance, and being willing to adjust when things feel unequal are all important practices in maintaining a healthy, equitable relationship. The final and perhaps most important truth about love is that it is a choice. Falling in love may feel involuntary, a rush of chemistry and connection that sweeps you off your feet. But staying in love, building a life together, sustaining a relationship through decades, that is a choice. It is a choice you make every day, in small and large ways. You choose to communicate, even when it is hard. You choose to forgive, even when you are hurt. You choose to prioritize your partner, even when you are busy. You choose to see the best in them, even when they frustrate you. Love is an action, not just a feeling. It is waking up each day and deciding that this person, this relationship, is worth your effort, your attention, your care. This does not mean love should feel like drudgery. It should bring joy, fulfillment, and meaning. But it also means recognizing that love is not a passive experience. It is active, ongoing, and sustained by intention. The beauty of love as a choice is that it is empowering. You are not at the mercy of fleeting emotions. You are in control of how you show up, how you treat your partner, and how you nurture the relationship. You can choose love even on days when you do not feel particularly loving. You can choose connection even when you feel distant. And those choices, accumulated over time, create a bond that is deep, resilient, and enduring. Love is both a gift and a responsibility. It is something you receive, but also something you give, something you tend, something you choose. And in that choice, again and again, you build a life, a partnership, a love that lasts. The tradition of love tokens has existed across cultures for centuries. Throughout history, people have given physical objects as symbols of their affection. In Victorian England, lovers exchanged locks of hair woven into intricate jewelry. In Wales, men carved wooden spoons, called love spoons, decorated with symbols like hearts, keys, and wheels, to represent love, security, and a willingness to work for the relationship. In some Native American tribes, courting flutes were played to express romantic interest. In Japan, lovers exchange omamori, protective amulets, as symbols of care and blessing. These tokens serve as tangible reminders of love, something to hold when the person is not present. They are imbued with meaning, representing not just the object itself, but the thought, effort, and emotion behind it. In modern times, love tokens continue to exist in various forms. A piece of jewelry, a photograph, a handwritten note, even a small stone picked up on a memorable walk together. These objects become sacred, not because of their material value, but because of what they represent. They are anchors to memory, to moments of connection, to the feeling of being loved. When words fail or distance separates, these tokens speak. They say, "I was thinking of you, I care about you, I want you to have something of me with you." They are small acts of love, made solid, love that can be held in the hand and carried in the heart. The role of patience in love is often underestimated. Patience is the ability to remain calm and understanding when things are difficult, when your partner is struggling, or when progress is slow. It is the opposite of urgency and frustration. In relationships, patience allows space for growth, for mistakes, and for the natural rhythm of change. Not everything can be rushed. Trust takes time to build. Healing from past wounds takes time. Learning to communicate effectively takes time. Patience honors this reality. It says, "I am willing to wait. I am willing to give you the time you need, and I trust that we will get there together." Patience is particularly important during conflict. When emotions are high, the impulse is often to push for immediate resolution, to demand answers or apologies right away. But sometimes the most loving thing to do is to step back, to give both yourself and your partner time to cool down, to reflect, and to return to the conversation when you are both ready. Patience does not mean passivity. It does not mean accepting harm or avoiding necessary conversations. It means approaching the relationship with a long-term perspective, recognizing that not everything needs to be solved today. It means extending grace, allowing for imperfection, and trusting in the process of growth. Patience is quiet strength. It is love that endures, that waits, that believes in the possibility of change and the value of time. And so, dear listener, we come to the end of our journey through the many facets of love, from the chemistry that lights up our brains to the quiet choices that sustain us through decades. From the first flutter of attraction to the steady comfort of companionship, we have explored the science, the history, the psychology, and the everyday realities of this most profound human experience. Love is complex, multifaceted, challenging, and beautiful. It is both universal and deeply personal. It connects us to each other, to our past, to our future, and to the very essence of what it means to be human. It is found in grand gestures and small kindnesses, in passion and in patience, in joy and in forgiveness. Love is the thread that weaves through our lives, binding us to one another in ways both seen and unseen. It is the heartbeat of human connection, the force that drives us to reach beyond ourselves, and the hope that we are not alone in this vast and mysterious world. As you lie here, your breath slowing, your body relaxing, your mind drifting towards sleep, imagine yourself surrounded by love. Feel the warmth of it, the safety, the comfort. Whether it is the love of a partner, a parent, a child, a friend, or even the quiet love you hold for yourself, let it fill you. Let it remind you that you are connected, that you are valued, that you matter. Love is all around you, woven into the fabric of your life, present in every heartbeat, every breath, every moment of connection. It is the light that guides you, the anchor that holds you, and the wings that lift you. Let all thoughts of the day fall away now. Let go of worry, of doubt, of the endless to-do lists. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be. Just here, just now, just breathing. Feel the weight of your body sinking into the surface beneath you. Feel the softness of the air around you. Feel the gentle rhythm of your heart, that faithful companion that has been with you since before you were born and will remain with you through every moment of your life. Each beat is a reminder. You are alive. You are loved. You are enough. If you happen to still be awake, you can go ahead and watch the next video when you are ready. But if your eyes are growing heavy, let the quiet truths of love hold you and carry you softly into rest. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and drift into sleep, into stillness, into the vast and gentle embrace of dreams. Know that love is always there, waiting for you when you wake, woven through your life like a golden thread, constant and true. Good night.